What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Acts of Creation. Today we're going to be talking about polyrhythms, and more specifically a 4/3 polyrhythm. And this is actually going to be a revisit to one of my older lessons. And I wanted to revisit it because the way I presented it last time, it wasn't as accurate as I would have liked it to be. So we're going to explain it again and give you a totally different example to work with. But before we get started, I'm playing my Schecter 7-string, standard tuning. If you don't have a 7-string, again, don't worry about it because I'm not even going to be playing the low B. I'm also running direct through the Line 6 HD Pro, meaning I'm not running any amp or cabinet simulations. And I'm also using a clean boost from Proton Pedals, which is great. You know, if you're using it live and you've got a solo coming up, you can step on it, boost your signal, or you can put it in front of a nice clean sound and it'll help push your sound just a little bit more. It gives you a really nice sound. So anyway, polyrhythms, 4/3. So in my older example, the thing we did was we created a pattern of 16th notes, and we would not isolate, but so much accent every 3 16th notes. And when you do that, you create 4 hits over 3. And the mistake I made in my older lesson was that I put the example in 4/4, thus creating a polymeter rather than a polyrhythm. So polyrhythms need to fit within your measure, and they always fall on 1. So the older example, like I said, if we're in 3, we have this. So you have a nice evenly spaced 4 accented notes over your meter of 3. And all we were doing last time was accenting the octave of our low B and then hitting the 7. And you could add in whatever melody you want to do over that. But we're going to do something a little different today. As you can hear, I'm a little clean, and we're going to do a finger style or a hybrid picking style example. This way we can isolate our individual voices. So what makes it easier for me to learn these type of ideas and put them into my writing, because sometimes look, ooh, I'm using polyrhythms, it gets a little complicated, and I don't think about music that way. I like to think about this rhythm, the sum of the rhythm. You know, and when you think about the sum, when I say that, I mean the hits of the 4 and the hits of the 3 together, the sum of that rhythm. And essentially you get this rhythm. Right? And if I isolate that, I'll tap 3, hopefully you can hear it, and I'll just strum the 4. And like I said, it's the sum total of that rhythm that once I can internalize that, then I can therefore write something with it. Much easier for me. So the example we're going to be doing, we have our bass line is going to be in 3/4. Very simple. We have our open A, and then G, 3rd fret of our E string, and then open E. So it's 1, 2, 3. And then the next measure is going to be F, which is the 1st fret of our E string. F, G, E. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the melody, this is a 4-bar example, but it just repeats itself. And the melody is going to be in 4, so we have 4 notes, and that's going to be up top. So we have this 1st fret of our B string, which is C, and then 2nd fret of our G string, which is A, open G, and then 2 of our D string. And then we have our open D, 2 on the D string, open B, open G. This is where we have. Okay, now on the second 2 measures, the first measure is almost the same. You have the C, but instead of the last 2 there, we're going to jump up and play D or 3, 3rd fret of our B string. And our melody is going to change, give it some variation. And then the second measure you have open B, 2nd fret on your G string, open B again, 3rd fret of our high string. So our melody is going to be. And we're going to combine that with our bass line. So I'm going to pick the bass line. I'm going to use my fingers to pick out the chord progression, and this is what you get. Cool little chord example. The chords I'm outlining are pretty simple. It's essentially A minor, G, E minor, maybe a D minor in first inversion, something like that. Whatever you want to consider it, or if you want to consider it a F7 sharp 11 chord. So like I said, it's the sum total of that rhythm that I can really internalize and now write something. So I can put that into my writing and I know that I have this. Combining the 4/3. Again, this is much easier if you're a drummer because you can have your beat, your normal 3/4 beat, and then you can pop off a cymbal as your 4 hits. Let me play that a little faster for you so you can hear what it sounds like a little up tempo. So I hope you can internalize this polyrhythm. It's not that complicated when you can hear and internalize the sum of the entire thing. Like I said, it's the same thing as if you were learning triplets, right? If the first time you learn how to play triplets, what are you going to do? You're going to write a riff that uses triplets. So you don't have to think about, oh, I'm going to use this polyrhythm here, or another, like I'm going to use this odd time meter. Once you learn the sound and feel of that rhythm, it's just going to come out in your writing. So I hope you can incorporate this rhythm into your writing. We'll do some future lessons on some other polyrhythms. And as always, let me know what you come up with. And until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.